Yes, yes, please.
All right, okay. So, warm greetings from the government of Andhra Pradesh to all the stakeholders from the IT Serve Alliance joining this virtual gathering. If you just see the ministry as such that I'm holding, it just shows the forward thinking of our Honorable Chief Minister, where otherwise this would have been three to four ministries holding different charges. So our Honorable Chief Minister had this vision of creating a seamless governance and seamless investments. So practically, he starts from the investments and the infrastructure to the industries, commerce, to the IT, to and skill development, and also the training. So it just shows this government is a complete hand-holding for all the investors that are going to be coming to the state of Andhra Pradesh. We are very happy to taking a step forward in collaborating with the IT Service, the largest such association of IT service organizations globally, with 1,200 plus members, companies, and 80,000 employees. I would just like to, as people have mentioned it, there has been the IT workforce across the country and people who have been working our entire diaspora of in the world. There's been close to 1 in 4 from the Telugu-speaking states, and of course, the majority of them hailing from Andhra Pradesh. So, if you see exactly, historically what has happened, Hyderabad has served as a natural destination in the United Andhra Pradesh, where the investment focus was towards urban-centric metro cities. So we had that time under the aegis of the Chief Minister, the then Chief Minister, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, who started first IT. But then it was also then later it was scaled up by then the later on predecessors, Mr. Honorable, the late Dr. Y. Rajshekar Reddy garu. I think it was in this time of 2004 and 2009, if you really see, that is where the explosion of IT actually took place in this country, thanks to this, virtual global alliances and globalization taking place. So where the costs were the major driving factor for people to come back and work towards such low-cost countries. To me, to start off with, what this government has faced, when we took over, when in 2019. We were still a relatively young state. We have no capital. We had to have so every government has its business plan, and for some reason, the business plan of the past 5 years, what the previous government had undertaken, we have actually looked into this and we said what are the setbacks, what are the fallbacks, and what are the gaps that we found. Basically, why we were not able to address most of the questions about investments and investors. If you really do understand this, so we are focusing on today, as I said again, the Chief Minister wants this to be a single stop a ministry with right from investments to providing a skilling. So we're actually stepped back, and then if you really look, our Chief Minister has actually gone back and said that even before I start asking for investors or marketing myself, in the market, I need to strengthen the institutional houses of the governance. So that is the reason why we have 4 cornerstones of this governance has been, we have taken administration as one primary a cornerstone. Basically we've taken as a corruption-free. It's completely transparent governance is what is going to be cornerstone of this government. We've also taken, the Chief Minister also has taken healthcare to the new levels, and I'll explain to you as we go forward what has happened. And education. That is another clear area that we are going to create a lot difference in the coming days. And of course, the industry. So if you really look at this, what has happened is that, as I was just mentioning, our Chief Minister has actually said this. Before even we start, let's start with the governance first. So that is the reason why we are more citizen-centric government and we are more progressive as a state. If you see in the last 12 months, this young dynamic Chief Minister has faced one of I'm sure the world-renowned leaders have not faced in their lifetime. He had to face the world pandemic of COVID, which had come into, suddenly onset into this entire world. So there are 3 major events, I think, which actually demonstrates this administration's focus. One is, how we address the COVID scenario. And we also had an unlikely, very unfortunate incident in the Visakhapatnam where the LG polymers, we had a gas leak and it was very toxic, and how quick the administration had moved in, and within 48 hours we were able to contain it. And one of the other factors that this is the time I would like to bring out is, in the last 5 years, as the Chief Minister has said very categorically, why is it that an investor wants to invest in any state or any, for that matter, any destination? As long as, there's a clarity of thought and there is a commitment to what we have committed. So the Chief Minister is very clear that do not overcommit and please focus, talk the walk. So this is where the big differentiators is going to be between this administration and the past administrations. So we have actually said that, for the last 4-5 years, we have had a very long outstanding incentives which were due to the industry and the IT industry. Now, when we had taken over this government, we had close to about 5,000 odd crores of dues to the industry and the IT industry. Now, so the Chief Minister said, why is this outstanding happening and why are we committing further investments where we are not honoring our word? So the first thing he went about doing it is that first let's close out our outstanding commitments that we have to the industry. So that galvanized into us being one of the only state in this post-COVID time to address the biggest industry, that is the backbone of the industry, that is the MSME sector, where we have actually paid out 950 crores in 1 month for the last, in 1 month span we paid out in 2 installments, a total of 963 crores. Also, we've also supported the industry for the last 3 months, that is starting off the first quarter of this year, where we suddenly had the onset of the pandemic. So where there was a complete shutdown of the institutions and factories and government. So we had, the waiver of the minimum electrical, the energy charges to this MSME sector. And to serve the further needs, we also created a corpus fund of 200 odd crores to give at a low interest cost rate. So now if you really see across the plethora of the Indian states, we are the only state that we can proudly say that we've actually stood by the commitment what we have not committed before. So we actually, this MSME sector was something not part of our manifesto, but yet when the Chief Minister saw that the glaring discrimination and basically the gap that was happening, he immediately addressed this by creating this, clearing out this incentive. So going forward, he said that committed that every year we'll close out whatever the investments or the incentives that are due. So this year we were looking at clearing out 1,300 crores worth of dues to the to the textile sectors. So if you really look at this, again I come back to this, is that when I talk about how we are strengthening our institutions. Now, apart from the governance, this other area that we were talking about is healthcare. Now I can clearly tell you that how the state of Andhra Pradesh has demonstrated across the world that how we stood up to this pandemic. We were one of the first states to actually come out with the TrueVet RT-PCR testing kits. This was manufactured in our MedTech zone. The interesting thing is that when in the first week of March, when it was still not declared as a pandemic, but then we had one of the scientists who had come to us and said that we have this problem coming across very soon, and this MedTech zone has a provision to manufacture this because it is actually manufacturing for the medical equipment. So he said what he has proposed was that there was a certain amount of funding if it could be given, we could create a very cheap source of RT-PCR test. Now the Chief Minister had immediately agreed to this, and then we had transferred this, and within a span of 1 month, the ICMR had certified the TrueVet COVID test. It's called TrueVet. So if you really look at this, the way we've addressed this pandemic is right from beginning. We also had the village volunteer workforce to support us, where the Honorable Chief Minister we had. I think after our we taking over, we created single largest employment by creating about 4,50,000 jobs for the in terms of village volunteers and village secretary system. So these people were our frontline warriors, or frontline in terms of our the people who actually took on the responsibility of the initial. When I'm talking about the initial time when we did not even have protocols designed by the World WHO. and how to even identify this disease, we actually had this village volunteer force actually mapping out people who are migrating back from other states, people who are sick or suddenly have developed any certain symptoms of what the COVID was then known as. So we were able to serve this quickly by creating centers, and we were able to get a lot of testings done. So we started off in initial days of a few hundred. Today we're talking about close to about more than 75,000 odd tests that are being taken. So this has helped us in what? This has helped us right from the day one. Our Chief Minister was very clear that we also need to have an exit plan. For this exit strategy to be successful, we need to map our entire population in terms of its locating the diseases, making sure that we bring the disease and we're able to control this disease. And I think he was one of the first leaders who coined the word that we need to live with this COVID. And there was a lot of criticism then, but then now today across the world, the same words are being echoed. There's apart from this, I mean, we've also been, we've used our, women volunteer workforce where we have created a huge number of the kits that are required, the safety kits that were required for, for a village volunteers or the workforce, medical workforce or the police workforce across the state of Andhra Pradesh. It just goes on to show how this administration has been effectively been implementing this, the strategy to take on this COVID. And I think I can be very proudly say that today we are one of the few states which stands as a testimony to the new administration. That's what we're talking about. The other area that we're talking about is also the education fact. The education is which our Chief Minister felt that it was very underserviced ministry, and as a part of the fact that he also believed that the future of the workforce comes from a good education background. So under our Nadu Nedu program, he has taken a modernization of most of these schools and introduction of the English medium, because one of the biggest concern, I'm sure you all do agree with me, that although the glaring difference between a person who's studied in English medium and a non-English medium is just the fact that he has that much more advantage in an interview to get through because he understands the questions better. So this was a disadvantage that the people from the non-English medium schools were facing it, and he addressed it by saying that English is going to be a compulsory right from the primary school onwards. So that was, apart from this, look at the industry part. Now the industry is something, what we said is that in our new industry policy that's just going to be coming out, we are going to be handholding you from the entire ages and the complete ages of your life cycle of your project. We're not just talking about the first 18 days where we give you the red carpet welcome and forget you. We're talking about we taking you to the entire process of coming as an investor, making sure that during the time of your construction, it's also onus on our industry to make sure that you complete the project on time, and also at the same time make sure that